Scott from Scott's Animal Adventures again, and today I'm just going to go through how I would set up a starter colony tub for any species of isopods. This one is especially important because it's for some Spanish isopods, and obviously you really need high ventilation, which is why I'm doing this brew house. You can see I've got 3 vents all the way around this side, and then I've got 3 on the end and 2 big old holes on the top. So it should be really good ventilation for them. In terms of the substrate, you can see I'm using Isopod substrate that's pre-mixed. It's got some leaves and some good stuff in it already. I am going to add a little bit of calcium. So calcium is really good in the substrate because it helps them strengthen their exoskeleton. This is going to be a bit of a difficult one to film, guys, but just stick with it and I promise you it'll be worth it. I've got all my supplies in different boxes, so it's always a bit of a dig around when I do one of these. And doing it one-handed is definitely something I've not done before. So I've got my calcium powder, and if you saw my previous video, this is from Nick again, but unfortunately I've got no do not sniff, so I think I got it wrong. I've been wondering why I've been getting nosebleeds, but luckily he's told me not to now, so no more. I do envy these YouTubers that make one-handed so easy looking, and you know, it looks like a lot, but once you mix it in, or once you get it in there, it's not going to really affect how the enclosure looks. But it does give them those little calcium deposits in the soil, so if any mankai or anyone want to have a little dig around in that, they've got some nutrients in there. And then next up I'm going to do my moss. So this is live sphagnum moss, again from Shropshire Exotics. This is the bag from the review and from the unboxing that I did. So I'm just going to put one corner. With Porcellio Haasi and other Spanish isopods, you don't want to have a big wet damp area. You want a small area, and then the rest of this all should be basically bone dry. So then if I take that old setup and just put it on here, all I'm going to do is take the lid off and move over the cork bark, and you can see them in there. They're absolutely stunning. My favourite by far of the Spanish isopods I own. And I think I'm going to put that just there. So it is quite a large cork bark for them. In fact, I might turn it, because the one thing I don't want to do is give them access to be able to climb out. And same here, is like I'm keeping the moss lower. And then a leaf litter down. I give them plenty of leaf litter because the leaf litter is one of their most important aspects in terms of keeping isopods. If you don't give them enough leaf litter, even if you give them supplemental foods, they're not getting stuff like copper and magnesium and different heavy metals that you'd find in these leaves. So another thing that I think is really important, I've got a little dinky one there. Another thing that I think is really important is varying your leaves and varying your food sources, because if you don't vary, then they're only going to get a certain amount of each nutritional aspect in each meal. So if you're only giving them the single food, they'll have X amount of copper, X amount of zinc, X amount of magnesium, but they're not going to get any that are lower or any that are higher. So in my opinion, it makes it less nutritious, because they're not getting that varied diet, so they could end up with too much of one thing and not enough of another. So I'm just going to cut now, and I will come back when I've rounded up all of my Porcellio Haasi, and I'll show you the final result. Okay guys, so I am back. I've got all of the Haasi that I could find. What I do is I always leave the setups somewhat set up still for the next week, maybe 2 weeks, just to make sure I haven't missed any straddlers, and I will check on it every couple of days. But you can see they're absolutely stunning. I have got the filter on Vivid. I'm using a Huawei Mate 20 Pro, so the colours are popping. They are more vivid than what you would get in real life, but I can assure you that these are just stunning anyway. Definitely a species I would recommend. So I'm just going to put these in, and you'll see them all scurry away. And they've got some fish, so if they want to eat, they've got something. But yeah, I'm going to end this here. So thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.